It's so nice to look you in the eyes.
I know, I can't believe we're here. It's making me a little bit nervous and a little bit sweaty.
I'm always sweaty.
You are sweaty, which you'll find out at the end of this episode. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Welcome back to Thoughts May Vary. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we're in a fucking studio.
Dun, 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 dun.
And how...
Like Vanna White.
Can I tell a quick story?
Please.
At the beginning of this year, I sat with you in a meeting and I said, I do not care how it happens. This year, by Q2, and we did it before Q2.
Yeah, we did.
We will be recording in a studio. And I completely released my attachment to how we would get to that point. I said, I don't care if it's because all of a sudden we are making so much money from this podcast that we can hire someone to film us in person. I don't care if we get signed. I don't care if you're coming to LA and you're sitting in my little closet office. This year we will be recording in person by Q2.
And what happened?
What happened? We hung up.
This was a call with our team. Hung up. I think it had been 20 minutes. I get a call from Gabby. Check the email that landed in our inbox.
And we had an email.
And it was you.
We are signed with a network.
That was Zena, by the way.
Yeah,
Offline.
say hi, Zena. Perfect. Zena's our amazing new producer.
Now we're one of those podcasters that can be like, Zena, and like talk to her off.
And she's like, that's not part of the contract.
It's
you signed.
huge.
Please stop.
Now, Zena, you're replacing Mahal. You're like the third voice in the room now. That's really cute.
That makes me really happy.
Oh, that's really cute.
Wow, we needed a third voice in the room.
We really did.
Can't do this on our own. But we are
no,
signed
we
with the
manifested
podcast
that,
network.
and this was like a huge goal that we've been talking about for a long time. And by the new year, we were doing a lot of discussing about end of year and reflecting and planning for the futures and goals and manifestation, because naturally that comes with a new year. And this was so top of mind in like the power in which it happened. And not only that, not only did we get an email from you, we got an email from like 3 other people that we were like, no thanks. Like we had options.
Oh, we've had options.
We've had options.
We've had options.
Not to toot our own horn, but it was like, it was fast and it was powerful.
But I was proud of how you and I moved through those options.
Me too.
Because we were able to remember our values.
Yeah.
We never compromised anything in the process.
Yeah.
And waiting and saying no and leading us to the SickBird team has been like the best decision ever, because the moment I opened your guys' website, I was like, holy fucking shit. And I like called Meadow because all the values were so aligned. The storytelling, like, I was on my dog walk to be here.
I know you're right where I was and you were reading it to me.
So we're now in their offices. We're
in a new era.
Yes. But this is our temporary aesthetic.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen.
Subject to change. But listen, I'll fucking
it's in the name of the show.
Always.
We will change 100 times more. But this is the era right now, and we're thrilled about it and so happy to be here. And in honor of that, we're doing like a memory lane walk today.
Yeah.
Because like you've mentioned, sometimes we get asked a lot of the same questions and we're like, we've talked about that. Listen, go back and listen. But there really isn't one landing place for like the story that is Thoughts May Vary.
Yeah.
It's a lot of different Q&As and stuff about us and how we met and career and whatever. So today we're doing a little allow us to reintroduce ourselves. My name is Hove.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
Roll the music.
My name is
So we thought, because by the way, you didn't tell them what today is.
Oh, please.
It's our 100th episode. God forbid you listen to episodes 1 through 99.
Please
don't.
I mean, like 1 through
50. Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
If you're new, you're good.
That's
just
fine.
bypass. They'll circle back. The thoughts will circle back far more eloquently
you don't
at
need
a later time.
I can't
You really don't
believe
need
that
to.
first episode exists.
You hate the first episode.
Well, because it doesn't matter. Doesn't
Doesn't matter.
We're here now. And so we wanted to sort of walk you through a little bit about us if you're new.
Which the whole point of this entire rebrand is decentralizing us, making it bigger than us. I think to do a little peek behind the curtain, since all we do is love process, one thing that we wanted in this new era of Thoughts May Vary is we feel we get a lot of messages from the community saying things like it feels like listening to 2 best friends talk over the kitchen counter, which it is. But there's a lot of just like that feeling of connection. And I think we in our brand and like learning what we are as a brand and branding ourselves have had like a lot of fun and playfulness and joy, but I don't really feel like we've very intentionally imbued the feelings of our community as a like ethos and the way we are right now.
No.
Like we're doing this so much more intentionally, which is so fun and so cool.
And by doing this, I think you mean like this rebrand process, not necessarily like,
Yeah. This rebrand, like who we are right now, showing up, who we are with SickBird. We're gonna have a new cover. We have new like stuff on Instagram, like just who we are now. So we're gonna walk down all the different versions of ourselves that got us here.
There were a lot.
And we'll tell you about it so you don't have to go listen to it.
Please. All right.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Okay, can we tell the story of how we met? Because here's the thing. There's a lot of new people around town. Which, hi, hello. Thank you for being here. Much appreciated. And I feel like we often get the same questions that we feel like we've answered, and then we're like, wait, we actually have not spoken about that.
Not in
2 years.
Not in one place, right? Like we give bits and pieces around, but we need to really consolidate. Like, let's tell our whole love story.
Okay.
Today.
Do you want to go first from your perspective?
Sure, absolutely, I do. Where was I? I was a jaded mental health worker that had found her way into consulting work and working for Mad Happy.
But tell people how you got that job, because that's actually really interesting, and you don't share that story enough.
Okay.
Because you really manifested that.
I was a jaded mental health worker. My classic line is that I got to the organization that I always wanted to be at, and I felt like I wanted to move mountains and I was moving molehills. And I didn't realize how corporate nationwide nonprofits would be, how limited I would be in the access to change or innovation in mental health care I would have. And so I got like the dream, I got the thing, and then was so underwhelmed being there. Yeah. So I was like, okay, so what does this mean? Like, what's next? Was kind of looking around, doing odd jobs on the side or whatever. And one of our good friends, Riley, was working at Glossier, like OG days. And they had opened a store next to Mad Happy. And Mad Happy was pretty new. I think it was summer of 2019 or spring of 2019. Yeah. And she was like, yo, they like seem like your style. They say they're all about mental health. You have to look them up. Looked them up. They had 2 blog posts at the time, one from Mason, a founder, and one from the intern. And I basically reached out and was like, yo, I'm a mental health professional and I love to write. Like, I'd love to write for you. This is so cool. Mm-hmm. I've always been into fashion, but I was a mental health girly. So I was like, perfect. This is both. Wrote 3 articles for them and then learned more about them and what they were doing in the mission, and basically proposed, if you're going to make an entire brand around mental health, there is very right and wrong ways to share. There's trauma-informed, research-backed. Like you have to, there's very specific ways to share and offer tools and support. And like learning more about what they wanted to do, I basically said, I will leave mental health work and be the liaison between the mental health world and you to figure out how to do this. And you should hire me to do it for you because you're going to need this to be taken seriously. And they said, okay. And I made it. You guys, I made it up. I made up this job. I'd never seen it, but no one would talk about mental health. Pre-pandemic, I've been screaming about mental health on the internet since 2012. Like no one wanted to talk about it. Yeah. So it was so cool to me.
Let alone in a cool way.
In a cool way. So I made it up, pitched it to them. It worked. And from there, fell into consulting and getting other people and yada, yada. However, during that faithful time at Mad Happy, one of the first things we did was build a blog. So I designed and organized the whole blog, and we should do anecdotal and research-based and homework and tools and the way you destigmatize, you know, there's a whole thing behind it. So we were doing that, kind of gaining steam, figuring out who we wanted to write. And another one of the co-founders said, hey, I have a friend from college that's a great writer. You should reach out to her. So I blind went into a call. I know exactly where I was sitting in the office and like fully fell in love with you on the phone. Fell in love with you.
We talked for like hours.
3 hours. And we hung up and I stalked your Instagram. And I've said this publicly before, like how the fuck is a woman like this cool, this smart, and this pretty, like saying she wants to be my friend? I was
Which is nuts.
Geeked out
Which
about
is literally
you.
Nuts.
You were the coolest girl I'd ever seen in my life.
Thanks.
Coolest girl I'd ever seen. I still to this day.
That was my Devil Wears Prada days. It was right before the pandemic. Mm-hmm. It was like, I think early days of February of 2020. And I was sitting on my couch in New York in my little studio apartment that I loved so fucking much. And I remember I had gotten a call from my friend, Josh, who was one of the co-founders, asking me if I'd ever written about my mental health. Mm-hmm. And I said, no.
Because where were you at that time?
Well, I'll give them that tea.
Okay.
But I had never done that. And I was looking for the space to talk about my mental health publicly because I had 2 years prior gone through the Hoffman process, which we all know and love. Take a shot every time I talk about it. And I hadn't been able to talk about it because there was no space for me to be able to write about that. And I also was an assistant, which I will back up and tell the whole story, but I was an assistant at the time and I was private on Instagram. I was like, I'm the first, like I'm representing the company, I'm representing her. I can't be like almost, just talking about my mental health in public, like whatever. And so I was really excited when Josh approached me about it. And then you and I talked, fell in love. But I remember when I wrote that, it was the first time that I ever published anything that sounded like the millions of what I like thought were just journal entries. But I used to write on my computer pieces and like essays. And I was like, these are so drama, like they're never gonna be published anywhere.
So now it's gonna be the book.
So now it'll just be the book. But I'd never had a space. And so it was the first time that I got to publish like my true like thoughts. And I remember having this overwhelming feeling of like, this is what you're supposed to be talking about. Because I had always had this disconnect with my job where like, I knew I wanted to work in magazines. I knew I wanted to be a writer.
And that article, for context for people listening, the entire like thesis of that was learning to hear yourself clearly for the first time. Yeah.
But to rewind, and I like set my sights on Condé Nast from a really young age. I knew what it was, and I was like, I will work at a magazine there. And I think that was like my first glimpse into like understanding what manifestation was, because like I just visualized. I had Vogue articles like framed in my room everywhere. Like I had so many like vision boards of it. And I was like, I'm gonna work in New York. I'm gonna like do this. At that time too, I was also like watching The Hills like later in my life. So I'm thinking I'm gonna be able to live in LA. I'm gonna be able to live in the Condé or work in the Condé Nast office that does not exist in Los Angeles. And I'm gonna work at Teen Vogue and it's gonna be great and all this stuff and whatever. Anyway, fast forward, I go through college, do my internships, whole song and dance. Like that was a whole wild ride too, because it was like an introduction into magazine land and then me trying to convince myself out of magazine land to see if I really liked it. So I was like working on like international sales at Oscar de la Renta and like having like PR jobs and things like that, which like I hated every single one of them. The only internship that I was like, this is the best thing ever was at a magazine. And it was like a startup. So I got to do everything, which was like, so even like the grunt work was like the funnest thing. I loved it so much. So anyway, fast forward, I have made a TikTok about how I got my job, so I will not go into that, but I very much inserted myself into HR at Condé Nast. And then I got a call one day asking if I wanted to interview to be Amy Astley's assistant. And if you watched The Hills or you read Teen Vogue, you know who Amy Astley is because she founded Teen Vogue. She like is a beast and is fantastic. Yeah. And I remember being so scared that I almost did an interview.
How old were you?
22. I just graduated. I was so scared because I was like, that was my first real test of like, can I do this? Can I be an editor-in-chief's assistant?
And like the woman.
And like the person I look up to and like frankly want to be. Yeah. And then I started working there and she very graciously from the beginning was like, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? Like, let me start writing pretty early. So I would find myself in pitch meetings trying to like talk about mental health or try and talk about like the meaning of the house and like the meaning of the people in the house. And like, I was always just more fascinated by people. Yeah. Like that's been my through line. And it took me so long to like realize that. But my through line was people. Like
it's
I like
so clear
humans.
in your writing now. It's so clear.
I think I just felt growing up so weirdly alone, even though I like wasn't. And I felt so weird in my own thoughts. And I felt really insecure about my own thoughts. And I felt like I really cared about what people thought about me.
Details in season 1. That's been very, we get into that.
Yeah. And I think that I just didn't want anybody to feel like that.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah. I was like, I don't want you to feel alone. I don't want you to feel weird. I don't want you to feel like what you're feeling is wrong. And that's why I love writing about people and storytelling through the human perspective because like we're all connected.
Yeah.
And we all shit the same way. We all wake up. We all go to sleep. Like
The common denominator of the human experience is emotions. Like what what do we say? The context will always be different, but the emotions that we feel will always be the same. Like we can always resonate with that.
Fast forward me quitting my job because I realized that during the pandemic where I'd started doing those Instagram lives where I was talking about mental health. And I frankly also just saw a lot of the red tape that existed within that company and was like, if people that are in power here are struggling to get things done, Godspeed for this 24-year-old. Like, I'm not gonna be able to do it. And decided to go freelance. And I think a lot of people were like, we're never gonna hear from this girl again. I felt that about myself. I was like, is this the stupidest thing I've ever done, is to go freelance at 24 when like you could go to Vogue and make a name for yourself and, you know, whatever. And
should we talk about it?
Yeah, that was my little Instagram live show.
The photos of us like looking at each other like
Meta was my first guest on my Instagram live show called Should We Talk About It? Remember
Fun
those
fact,
days?
That's our Instagram now.
Oh yeah.
We totally repurposed it because you like got 1,000 or 2,000 followers and we were like, thank God the podcast has somewhere to start.
No, literally. And then
this was the same time we thought of the podcast.
Well, yeah.
Was it before you quit?
No, I don't.
It was after?
I don't know, actually.
I feel like it was alongside Should We Talk About It? I swear it was like alongside.
I think after I interviewed you for that show.
Yeah.
I think you and I kept talking and very quickly were like, we need
this
a podcast.
This is special. Yeah.
And I kind of remember it being in like, God, when I have a photo on my phone of like us talking.
You say you remember the call. I don't because we all know my memory. But
I remember where I was sitting in my childhood bedroom because I was back at my mom's house in Miami.
We were because the essential piece of it was that we were willing to have these conversations that we always have that make up the antithesis of this that make up the thesis of this entire show. And in us talking about it privately, we're just like, this is what we want to see on the internet.
Yeah.
And we can't find it, so let's fucking make it. Yeah. This is cool.
I think at the time too, like we were being so inundated with mental health conversations because obviously we're going through a global pandemic. And like
first time anyone wanted to talk about it.
First time anybody wanted to talk about it. And you could just see everyone like grasping for straws. And we were just fucking struggling. Like we were struggling. And I remember you and I talking about like, what are the shows that currently exist? And like, how do they talk about mental health? And I think from my perspective, it was either like experts, which obviously we need.
Huge. Yeah.
We need experts. But sometimes it was super it wasn't not welcoming is not the way to say it, but
there was a power dynamic of therapy and this like kind of like weird what's the word for like a doctor's office? Like not stale, but kind of
my God, what is the word? It's not
Sina, what's the word?
I'm not looking like God, what is the word where it's like it was intimidating almost.
Yeah. That's
where
fair.
It felt like, it was like you're up here and I'm down here. And then I think the only like human to human experience conversations were very like toxic positive Hallmark card. And you and I were like, this makes me want to actually
don't die by suicide. Think happy thoughts. And I was like, I'm gonna fucking hit
no,
my head
literally,
into
I'm like
the wall.
that. I'm gonna fling my body into the street now. Thank you so much.
So bad. It was so bad.
And you and I like could not. Because we're not like that. And you also, I remember you being like, this is why no one wants to talk about mental health and they think it's lame because the way people talk about it is fucking lame.
The way every like nonprofit, the way they market it versus then whatever therapists want to speak. Like it was just lame. It was lame. It didn't offer space for nuance. It was so like, it just wasn't getting to the root of things and also not showing you the way to grow. Like everything was very much trauma dumping because people are dying to have you hear their story and listen to the story behind them and what they're going through. And then they're like, and now I'm here and my life has changed. And we're like, okay, great. Everything in the middle is where I want to see the detail. Like how the fuck, like the trauma dumping is important and I want to hold space for people to feel held in their stories. But if you don't spend as much time telling me every single step you took to get out, how you fell on your face along the way, what are all the different modalities you tried, how's your self-care changed? Like this, and that's the piece that we built the show around. We're like, let's show how to get from here to here.
Well, because you and I are like
in real time.
Yeah. We're fucking hoes for process. Like I love it's my favorite like voyeuristic thing is to like watch other people's like that's why I like YouTubers that like take me through their like work day or like
no, I want a creative process. Like every artist that unpack their creative process.
Behind the diary YouTubes.
Oh, stop. Speak dirty to me.
Literally, because I'm like just show me your process and I will come. Like is literally the statement. Yeah. And like that is how I feel about not me turning the show into me talking about masturbation, but I'm like that.
We do have great sex episodes.
Right. But like for real, like I like seeing the process and I like hearing about it. And I like the fact, even like when we had Anne Louise on, she called us out for this too. And not to get like too in the weeds of like, because I also don't like the bullshit, like we have to be like the verbiage and the this and the that. And there's so many different like, but she was like, why are you even like, why do you need to focus on the word healing so much? Because like, you're not gonna heal. Like, yes, there's things that, yes, we can heal. But nothing's ever going to be tied in a fucking bow and like put away and be like, okay, bye.
No, it never ends.
It never ends.
So the only way to do it is to do it together, make it fun, and show people like what it looks like. Show people what it like. I mean, we also had a lot, because it was also the time. I mean, it was 2020. So we had a lot of conversations about being the antithesis to cancel culture and showing what it looks like to like fuck up and make mistakes and learn and grow and not be afraid to grow out loud, and how important that was.
Like figuring out a way to like caveat it, being like, if you're not hurting anyone, if you're not doing anything fucked up, because like we know that, but
like we're off that. Like we just need, I think collectively, if we allow people room to have nuanced conversations and different opinions and grow and make like the divisiveness will ease when we can see a piece of each other and someone that you don't agree with or find annoying or like whatever it may be. And I think it was really important for us to be able to have the space for nuance in these conversations. I mean, it's that's literally why we named the show Thoughts May Vary. No, like literally. We reserve the right to show up differently every time we come here.
That's why we started the show.
That's why we started it.
That's why we started it.
I want to say I know I read this to you on my dog walk the other day because I made a note on my phone, but I will say having like speaking to what the whole ethos of the show is, I am my favorite version of myself right now that I've ever been in my life. And so much of that is thanks to this container and thanks to this space.
Same.
It is so monumental how having essentially weekly check-ins with your best friend or experts or a community to like show up and think about what you're working on, learn different things, like really be reflectful and mindful. Like I am my favorite version of self and I wouldn't be here without this place.
Same. You know what's cool about it too? Just like thinking about like age where we are, like I'm in my late 20s. Meadow just turned 30. She's finally the age that she was born to be.
Thank you.
We all know. But like I think also I really wanted to build a community with you where we could talk about like things didn't need to be mutually exclusive. Like it didn't need to be like, because I'm a spiritual healing girly, I all of a sudden like I'm gonna live on a fucking farm and not have my phone and I don't give a shit about my career and like I'm just gonna like talk to the moon every night, which like I do, but like in a city. Like and have us like, you know, like I feel like there was that
we can show each other every part of ourselves.
Yeah, like I wanted
and even the ones that conflict with each other.
Yeah, like I wanted to create a space where it wasn't like dirty or ugly to be like, I have really, really fucking big career goals and I'm also really spiritual.
Yeah.
And like to be able to like push each other.
I do want to say one other thing before we move on in terms of being my favorite version of self because of this space, because we kind of talked about this offline briefly right before we started, which was when you and I sit down together because we're in person for the first time recording, and this is such a cool phase for TMV and whatever, we were talking about when you and I are sitting across the table from each other on your balcony talking, it energetically feels so different than I feel right now talking to you. And that's because this space only exists because these people are watching. And like the energy that like people right now listening to us and watching us, putting the energy towards us in this conversation means that every time we show up in this container, it feels different to me. Like it to be the spiritual woo-woo girl, like it energetically is different because of the community we've created.
Absolutely.
And mind you, we're well aware of our numbers and that community is, you know, of a smaller scale, but the impact that it has is fucking monumental. And like we're here because of that.
Well, I think that like you and I had the intention of going into this, of what I said earlier, of like, if I can make one person, I don't care. Like
I don't care what the number is.
Person that I can, obviously we care in the sense of like, we want to impact as many people as possible. But like, if that ends up being in the lifespan that is Thoughts May Vary, like one human being, like I am proud of what we did and I'm glad we did it because like that was the reason we started it. Like
100%.
From the beginning, this wasn't about us.
Yeah.
Which I know can sound rich coming from like two bitches in front of fucking cameras and a microphone, but like it wasn't.
It wasn't. And we never wanted it to be. And we also, it's so fun to be in this place now and celebrate our wins and like how it's changed and how we're here in this moment. And also knowing from the start and what we're sharing with this new team, what our goals have been from the fucking start that are so far beyond a podcast.
Yeah.
Like it's never just been about us. It's about such bigger themes and inclusion and community. And it's such, I'm just so proud of us. And I'm excited for where we're going.
And like, it's cool to see the way that like you said earlier, the way that it's shaped who, like the versions of self that we are now.
Yeah.
And like the versions of self that we are, like that you are as a wife in your marriage.
Yeah.
Like who you are in just like your groundedness. Like we talked about that, I think on the last episode where I was like, when we talked about when you came back from Sedona.
I got a DM about that I'm like, they were like, I feel an energetic shift in you in the way you're showing up on the internet.
Cause it's different,
yeah,
Meadow.
It's different. It's different.
Cause you like both of us were such people pleasing, people pleasing, like bend over backwards vibes in different ways.
Totally different ways.
Because we come off differently.
Ways. Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, I still literally was talking about this in therapy yesterday where it's like getting rid of the fucking like, oh, I was an assistant and an intern and like, thank you so much for letting me be in the room.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Yeah. And now like you are so embodied in like who you are and knowing what you bring to the table and what your value is.
Same, dude.
And it just makes people around you like feel differently than they would in the past.
I feel like you and I feel different even just to each other, like knowing each other so intimately. Like we're so okay, so I know you want to catch up on the present.
No,
but let's do the timeline. Like let's back because I think this is really fun. Like I want to talk about us, the version of us in each pod cover. Like who we were at the start, who we were in the middle, and who we are now with this new rebrand. Because that's like a fun way to mark that.
We'll put the covers on the screen so you guys can see what we're looking at. Because when I saw these next to each other,
this is so
I was like, I wanted to cry.
So cute.
Hey everyone, popping in to say thank you to all of the amazing people who listen and watch this podcast. We're so grateful for each and every one of you and truly cannot say thank you enough for tuning in every single week.
In order for us to keep bringing you all great conversations and continue building our community and raising the bar, we're asking you for some simple and free support. Subscribe to our channel, follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts, and keep up with us on social at Thoughts May Vary Pod.
And if you're looking to dive even deeper, you can join our exclusive Patreon community and download Co-Create, our digital manifestation journal filled with over 150 prompts to help guide your curiosity and unlock new layers of yourself.
Thanks for being here. Tell them about the first one.
We were at Sarah Shakui's house.
Yep. Yes, we were.
Our friend.
Mahal was this big.
Mahal was brand new to the world.
Brand new.
We didn't know
Wiener dog, who's the
cunt she was gonna end up being.
Mahal's not the third co-host anymore because she's not gonna be here.
Guys, you don't
honestly, thank God. You have no idea how many times we've had to like pause recordings for Mahal
like
to scream.
When a guest is there and all of a sudden Meadow is no longer on the screen because she's
screaming at my dog in the other room.
Yeah. Mahal could barely, like, she was like the height of the grass.
Oh, she was so small.
She was small. We were at Sarah's house.
It was us in our friend's yard. Maddie Bragg took the photos.
Maddie Bragg took the photos on a fucking disposable camera, which like not much has changed. But
yeah,
honestly, I still stand by the branding.
Me too.
Like
great. I love a terracotta.
Like that's basically what my YouTube thumbnails look like. Love the terracotta.
Yeah.
But like we were just like two weenie hut juniors.
I feel when I look at this version of myself, I'm proud because it was the first version of me that was willing to step up and put something out there. Because similar to you and the way you wanted to start a blog, like I had posted YouTube videos on and off for years and always deleted them. I started right before I met you when I was still at my mental health org before Mad Happy. The day that Anthony Bourdain died by suicide, I launched a blog called That's Crazy. And the A was an asterisk, like crazy was a bad word. About like I always wanted to talk about mental health and make it cool on the internet and was always trying to do it. But doing it alone would get in my head or think it was cringe or want to stop. So looking at this, I feel so baby and I feel like the people pleaser version of me and I feel like a younger, naive version of me. But I also am so proud because that's the version of me that was like willing to put something out there with you. No, and it's only because I had you to do it with me. If I was alone, I would have never done this.
I don't think so either.
Ever. I know that for sure. I tried.
I think
there's no way. It's the balance of us and our dynamic made this happen.
Yeah. When I look at this,
we look green.
We're just happy to be here.
We're just happy to be here.
Which like still same.
Yeah.
But like I just think about who I was Okay, you know when people talk about like beginner's mentality?
Oh.
And granted, it's not like you and I have scaled this podcast to the point where it's
No.
this like multi-million-dollar business where
No.
we're like, oh, if we would have known. But I always hear entrepreneurs talk about like, if we would have known, we probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
And like, that's how I feel.
I think we would have done it anyway.
I don't feel like we wouldn't have done it, but I'm saying like we had that like, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Which like it is.
It is.
But we just had that like, this is gonna be fun and cute. And like, I'm excited to like, I don't know. I just wanted to like share.
All I see in this version of us is us interrupting each other. I also need people to know that up until 2 weeks ago, I was never able to hear myself on headphones when we recorded in person. Now it's superfluous because we're recording virtually. Now we're in person.
Guys, it was bad.
But it was it was bad because one, we just didn't know what we were doing yet. We were trying, and two, because we couldn't fucking hear ourselves talk. It was bad.
Do you
like,
remember?
please just don't listen to season 1 if you haven't.
I don't even. Do you remember Dom's episode?
No, we had to edit out the tech issues. I don't even know how that episode is live because I felt like I couldn't hear half the episode.
Like Dom's Wi-Fi, love you, was trash city.
It was so bad.
And
it was so bad.
You and I couldn't hear each other, and I think that was like one of the first times we like fought after an episode.
Yeah, I think
because
so,
I remember like I either texted you during the episode being like respectfully shut up because you keep interrupting me, but then you were like, you keep interrupting me, and I was like, no, I can't hear.
Yeah.
And then we couldn't hear each other.
Yeah.
It was so
but it was so clear in post, like how laggy and like you could see our eyes like react at different times to different things.
Oh
it was just,
my God, it was so bad.
It was really funny.
And we still interrupt each other, but that's always going to exist. If not, you're not heard in your own household.
Also, it's how women speak. Okay.
Anyway, they're cute. They're cute in there. And also this was like the first version of me that wasn't afraid to be seen trying.
Exactly. That's the perfect way to say it. Exactly.
And then I look at the next picture and I'm like, this was my thought era.
No, you were wild.
This was my Aries moon.
No, this was like
this was
the
my
single of your fucking
crazy
This was your
era.
summer 16. Like my summer 16 was you spring Aries season of whatever year this was.
I think this was the summer. This was like the end of summer of 2021 through 2022. That was when I was single that whole year. It was a summer to a summer. And
it was wild.
We were going out. Like that's
like
what we were
lot.
doing.
We went out. We went to like the
bathtub.
club after this. I don't remember where.
Well, we were going somewhere. Even
of course my nipples are out.
Yeah, of course your nipples are out.
We're once again in Maddie Bragg's bathtub. Thinks she took the photo onto disposable.
Yeah, and you fucking gave me so much shit for wanting to take this picture. And I was
really
like,
did. I was like in the
my
bathtub.
vision. And then it became our cover.
And it was really cute.
But even
our
here,
friend Lucy designed it. I loved the butterflies.
I love this
Still
cover.
relevant. I love the cover. I like the graphic a lot. I don't resonate with this version of myself in any capacity anymore.
Yeah,
this feels like the version of self that has not healed her feminine.
You were like in an in-between there.
I was like
floating.
totally exploring the wounds, but I'm like on the other side of the hill. Like I am such a different version. This is the version of me before healing self-worth, before really going deep into shadow, before healing feminine, before like still trying to heal sex trauma coming out of an abusive relationship. We have unpacking core wounds and unpacking sex after trauma. Listen to those because those are good episodes. Like this version of me is so fragmented. This version of me is so much more I'm so much more integrated in my self-concept now than who I was there.
I see that. I feel that too. This version of me is like, it's funny because this is where multiple things can be true at once. Like I was having so much fun.
Oh, you were having a blast.
And I was like,
you were having a blast.
The most integrated in like my sensuality.
Yeah.
And like really leaning into like healing that part of my like cultural wound with my Latinidad, where I was finally like really like expressing myself within the Latin community in a way that like in another piece of the Latin community is really looked down upon, and it's very like elitist and like, why are you dressed like that? Why are you dancing like that? Why are you listening to that type of music? Like that's trash, this, like, which is how I was raised.
Well, you were raised in two very different culture. Yeah.
But like that was private school Miami, and that was GW, like Latins. So, and New York.
Yeah.
The Latins in New York that I was around.
Right.
So very different.
Yeah.
And then being here, like being able to finally embrace that, the joy and fun and like freedom of my
joy
culture.
in you. Like
there was a lot of joy in me, but then there was a lot of dark in me at this time. This was my roster era. Like, this was my, like,
The
I'm
roster.
gonna,
The
like,
roster.
you think you can hurt me? That's fucking cute.
Yeah.
Like, I was
This
like,
is the version of us on
mean
that TikTok
with
when we're
men.
like, you think I don't have an integrated shadow? You think anything you
Yes.
say could hurt me more than I hurt myself? That's funny.
Yeah.
Like, that was this for us.
This was my mean to men phase
Yeah. Yeah.
with my roster.
The feminism trap
was
of thinking you
fun.
have to be mean to men.
Which was real
It was fun, but this is so much more fun now.
so much more.
So much more
I
fun now.
shed a tear. I'm like, so much more fun.
One tear stream.
So much more fun.
Okay, so who are you now?
We're figuring it out.
Yeah.
I
Subject to change. By the time this posts, I'll feel differently than I do sitting in this chair.
Yeah. I feel really, this is the strongest I've trusted my intuition in a way that's really different than what I talk about when I left Hoffman. Because when I left Hoffman, I talk a lot about, like, it was the first time I was able to hear my own thoughts and, like, disseminate, like, that's me, that's something else. Now it's like, I actually might have the answer. I actually might not need to ask and gut check with a bunch of people.
Outsource your intuition.
Yeah. Like, which I did for the first time after Hoffman, but I only did that in my personal life. Think about it. I was like working at Condé Nast.
Yeah.
I had a job that made sense. Like, that part of my life was very, like, in a little cute box. So I was able to do it with my personal life. But now, in terms of just the way that I lead my life and what I prioritize in my value system and my career, like, I'm doing that the most. And I'm being okay with it.
You totally are. I see that in you.
And, like, just being okay with doing things differently, I think. And also, like, exploring who I am in a relationship that feels really good and really steady and, like, we're not going anywhere, and, like, learning how to, like, how my body's evolving in that, and, like, how finding, like, also the fun in, like, relationship Gabby, and, like, I don't know, like, I feel sometimes I feel a little, I said it to you in the car, I was like, I feel like I'm, like, just trying to, like, tread above water a little bit. Because I don't want to just, like, paint this picture that I'm, like, fucking
of course.
fantastic.
Of course.
And sometimes I just feel like because I am trusting myself more than ever, I wake up a lot more than ever being like, am I making the right decision? Did I do this the right way? Was this the best step? And, like, knowing that, like, you know, my timing is divine and I'm on the right path and my path is my own path, being like, was there a better way to do that? That's the question I ask myself.
And that's, like, a fair side of accountability and self-reflection in this without beating yourself over it.
When you don't have a boss telling you what to do.
You do. It's funny, though, because, like you said, two things can exist at once, and you have all these questions about who you are and what you were doing then and how it impacts you now, and yet you feel the most grounded version of yourself since I've known you. Like, you feel very grounded in your identity, who you are, every aspect of yourself. You don't question your identity in a way you used to at all. And it shows in a very calm feeling. Such a Taurus. Like, you're grounded and rooted in who you are. And it's calming and easy to be around someone like that because you're not playing pretend. And you have nothing to prove.
Dude. Yeah.
You played pretend a little bit.
I played pretend.
We all did. I played pretend
way. I'm like a really good chameleon.
Totally.
Which I think is a really good skill.
And I'm just good at manipulating, aka people pleasing.
It's good because we can work a room.
Right.
But
then also, at what point did we always feel disconnected because we weren't being each other to each other? You know, not saying that we did in our relationship, but in a general sense.
Well, that's how I lived my majority of my
20s.
life.
Yeah.
Where I was, and growing up, where I was like, why am I so lonely? And I'm like, oh, because nobody knows
Nobody
who I am.
knows
That's
me.
crazy.
Oh my God.
And not because of anything they did, because I'm not showing them.
It's because of our perception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just feel like, remember the day you came over recently and I was complimenting your outfit?
The outfit that Erin didn't like. And I was like, first of all, you're wrong. Watch. And I walked into Gabby's house and she was like, and I was like, fucking told you.
You looked like, I don't even know how to say this without sounding like a little girl, but you looked like a grown up.
You know, Solange and Beyonce were like, I'm a grown woman.
Like,
I do whatever I want. That is how I feel. That's absolutely how I feel.
As I whip out my Stanley.
But I've said this before on the pod. I feel quieter. I feel like
you don't feel the need to yell anymore.
Oh, my young people pleaser-y version of self. Like, if you listen to old episodes, I'm loud. I want to be liked. I'm like trying to be entertaining. I'm trying to be like, I was like trying to be a Teffy, knowing I'm not a Teffy. Like Teffy is so naturally gregarious and outgoing and fun. And I think I was a little bit growing up. Like I had more of that in me. But there was like such a different, more authentic version of me that I was like placating for self-approval versus now. Like if you take me to a party, I'm a good time, but I can also just dance and be in my own world and observe and feel no type of, I don't have to talk to anyone and I don't feel type of way. Like I'm so cool in my own self.
It's really fucking
It feels
nice.
powerful. I feel like you feel powerful and magnetic in a different way too.
Definitely.
Catch us up to your career right now because you're in a different place than you were.
Yeah. I mean, the emphasis is much less on the things that I know I can do and on the things that I've been too scared to actually do.
And that is where the fucking magic happens. Like, let's chase our dreams because we know we're worth it. This whole show has been an example of that to us in a way that now we can go after other things knowing like, oh, we can do things and make it happen.
Yeah.
And like our dreams are our dreams for a reason.
Yeah. You and I have both done that.
And what's the point of like living life in a version? If we only get this one chance, why am I going to act like anyone other than myself?
Do you feel
it's not going to bring me the lessons my soul on the other side asked for?
Do you feel like, because I've watched both of us do this and you're doing it a lot less now, like, do you feel like sometimes you get caught in this loop where you're like, especially as a freelancer, you're like, let me do the things that I know how to do because it's what's going to make me money right now. So let me do those things. And then I'm going to keep putting the big thing off.
That was me here. That was me in version 2 of our cover. That was every single day, version 2. Being in lack, trying to do stuff, like doing what I thought was good, doing what other friends were like, do this because you can make money doing that. And then you'll save money to do. Like, that was 100% me there. I don't fuck with that shit anymore.
I mean, what changed?
I mean, you got to go back and listen to every single episode. The amount of fucking unpacking and work and this and like exploring all different sides of myself and learning more about other things and expanding my horizon. Like, everything changed every day. It's slow. It's all this shit is like slow burns. And then all of a sudden you wake up and look back at old covers and you're like, who even is this person? Like, this is this feels like inner child versions of us now. Do you know what I mean?
You know what's like going to be fun shadow work, which you've like already done, is like integrating the most recent embarrassing parts of ourselves.
I mean, there's always going to be stuff to unpack. Like, I'm always going to be embarrassing.
Oh my God. I have such a fun story that I'll share with the shadow work episode.
Okay.
But anyway, catch up with my career. I am still freelance writing, but we're focusing more on people, the stories that I actually want to be telling. We're growing this podcast. And then the most I will say on it is I'm leaning really, really heavily into the hosting side of my career.
We cannot wait to see it.
But tell us what you're fucking doing because your website looks great.
Thanks. But the website is also things that I'm good at that I'm still doing and still interested in. But I need people to know that in the background of this entire year, like what OR is the name of my company, OR Consulting, is metamorphosizing. Like I know exactly where I'm going and it's kind of, everything's been building to it, but it's not clearly outlined now. But I'm so fucking stoked and soul aligned and like, yes, I hit the thing. Like, that's the button. Like, I fucking found it. That's it. And so I'm really taking my time.
Please stop smacking the desk.
Sorry. Truly, I'm really excited to have that, know what I'm doing and be gaining skills and all the lessons and everything I'm doing right now and have it all bleed into this and to take my time to do the thing. But I have such clear long-term and short-term vision for how this is going to change. And I'm so fucking stoked. And you're going to see it being reflected because it's a lot. The most I'll say is that I'm blending art, creativity, mental health, and spirituality in the way I always wanted to. Because I've talked before about feeling like an artist without a medium and then realizing that my medium was helping people. I think one of my gifts is being a mirror to have other people see the best of themselves and their most authentic self. And I think I help guide people to that. And I realized that my medium has been not only guiding them to that, but then watching how they express it and like being a tool to help people express that differently in whatever that art is. And so I'm working on projects that marry all those things in a way that just... it's going to be so fucking cool. It's going to be so fucking cool.
Her website's sick. I was reading it yesterday and I don't know how I landed on your website yesterday. I think I saw your email signature and I clicked it, but loved it. And I was so proud of you in the way that you describe every container and everything. And I think you've really been helpful for me in believing that and making me read fucking The Creative Act that
we're always going to talk about it.
That like you and I are capable of making a living off of our creativity. And that's like not something that I've ever genuinely accepted. about myself.
I mean, a child of an immigrant. How are you? Like, that's
Well, yeah, we were
there's so
talking
much to
that.
unpack there. We were talking about that earlier
Yeah,
today.
which is a
so
whole other conversation.
Of course,
But it's been really interesting to be like, you are a creative and an artist who has found your way of doing it. And I am a storyteller, and as fucking as that's like, for some reason the word storyteller sounds like I should be blonde wearing a fucking fedora.
Oh my God, no, I picture you as like
I'm a storyteller.
No, I picture you in like fucking
2,000
years ago
here's the
as like the
sage
person
that, like someone burned down a forest.
No, I picture
and
you
I'm in a
as like the
fedora and I'm
sage of the
blonde.
community. Like I picture
Thank
you as
you.
the oracle. You're like a powerful woman oracle of the community that could hold the stories to teach us about ourselves and our perspectives and how to grow and how to move like thousands of years ago. That's how I picture you.
Thanks.
That was you in an old incarnation for sure.
You know that I was told.
For sure.
Never mind.
That? We'll unpack it after.
We'll unpack it later. Okay, wait, we need to move on.
Oh, big flip. Oh, ending on fun questions?
Yeah. So
rapid fire.
Because it's our 100th episode and we want to be self-indulgent little bitches.
Obviously. Some things never change. We
like,
still have room to grow.
Isn't about us. But here's
everything
questions.
about me.
And that's a little bit about me.
That's a little bit about me.
Okay.
Do you want me to start?
Sure.
Who's the last person you left on red?
Oh God, I know, because I feel bad about it and I haven't answered her. Carly. Oh my God, my old coworker from AD, who I'm still really good friends with, asked me, how's it going with your career? And I said, boop. Haven't answered you.
Let you know later.
I love you so much, Carl. But I left you on red because I didn't have the bandwidth to answer that question at that time.
Fair.
Even though I could just.
Everyone knows
Carl,
I don't
I'm gonna
text.
look right at your eyes here, Carl. I didn't answer you because I value our friendship more than just saying good.
There you go.
That's my excuse.
So you're waiting for the time to like really unpack it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine's Michaela, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just briefly read her last text and it says, ignore this, respond later. So I'm like,
okay.
I do frequently ignore Michaela.
Describe the first time you drank. Bro, who wrote this? Because I have no idea.
I have such a good story.
Oh.
On the beaches of Jamaica with my grandmother.
Oh.
We're on a family vacation. Marcel, the mayor of Honfleur in France, dies, leaves Camille all his money. She takes everyone to Jamaica, whole family.
Camille's her aunt.
So much fun. My crazy aunt who we love brings the whole family to Jamaica. They had this drink called a dirty banana. It tastes like a chocolate banana milkshake.
Sure.
It is every part alcohol and one banana. My grandmother, we woke up early. We were like on the beach, just us. And she was like, go get us dirty bananas. She literally doesn't realize they're alcoholic.
How old are you?
Summer going into 8th grade.
You're 13.
12,
13.
12, 13. We drank 5 before noon.
Right. So
the family shows up at noon to the beach and me and Phyllis are shit-faced. Like shit-faced. Phyllis. And then we went snorkeling later that day. And I'm like holding hands with my cousin and we're like snorkeling around and we're looking at stuff and we all come up and we're like, where's Phil? Where's Phyllis? Phyllis is 2.5 miles bobbing with her fucking blubber ass.
Stop.
And she literally, everyone had to get in the boat, go out to go get her. And she goes, oh, I was great. I had succumbed to my own death. And she was just floating like this.
Why is everyone in your
thinking
family
she's
the
a mermaid?
same?
No, we're all
Why are
the
you guys
same.
all
I know
the
it's crazy.
same?
It's just too much.
Wait, that's a really good first time
iconic
story.
first drunk story.
Also, it's gonna be you.
Oh, duh.
Not to be dark,
Duh.
but it's like one day you're just gonna decide it's done.
Yeah,
You're like, I've
absolutely.
lived.
I'm good. Lay
Bye.
down. Hold hands with Aaron. Lay down. Die.
You're like the bitches in the
dream.
Notebook.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't
Yeah.
remember because that's called having an immigrant family who starts serving you wine when you're fucking 5.
Fair.
And they're like, here, drink at dinner so you're not the stupid white bitch at a party, blackout drunk.
Thank God.
That's how I learned
That's how
to
we're going to
drink.
raise our children.
You give them a little thimble of wine at the dinner
Absolutely.
table so they're not super excited their first party because they've had alcohol before.
Dude, going to Santa
Not to tell you how to
Barbara
raise
and
your
watching.
kids.
No, that's how everyone
Childless
should.
person tells.
I
but
also plan on doing that with weed and social media. I digress. What was your first concert?
Madonna.
Wow.
Iconic, right?
Wow.
Nosebleeds.
I have like the first one that I actually chose to go to that I consider my real one. And then I have like the one that my friend took me to that's kind of my real one, but I
Okay.
hate it. So I don't say it, but I will say it because it's a safe space. So when people ask me, it's Kanye. But not
She's
only
like,
is it
it was
Kanye,
High School Musical, the concert.
it was. I'm not kidding. It
You're
was.
shitting
My
me.
friend made me go to High School Musical, the concert with her. That was my first real concert, and I'm not kidding you.
I'm glad
I
that I
won't tell
picked-
anyone. It's my shadow.
I picked the most embarrassing thing I could think
That's
of.
what it is. Okay, how awful. So the real one that
I'm in
I
your
actually
brain.
chose and I went to with my friend, but
That's
listen to
crazy
this.
that I guessed that.
Crazy.
I'm witchy as shit this month. Let
You
me
are.
just tell you guys.
You have been.
My dreams have been crazy.
Listen,
Okay, go on.
Rihanna, NERD, and Lupe Fiasco opened for Kanye. It was Rihanna's
Whoa.
first time airing the Pixie Cut. First time. Lupe Fiasco performed on his skateboard at NERD in 8th grade, 2008. I had ice creams, which if people don't know, Pharrell Williams had a whole clothing brand. I had ice. I was in hip hop competition. Like I thought Kanye literally took 2.5 hours between all his openers and his set to come out. And so we saw like the first hour and then we had to go because it was like our fucking bedtime. It was midnight and we were in middle school.
Whoa.
Anyway, so it was Kanye or High School Musical.
It was High School Musical.
You'll never let me live it down.
What is the thing that annoys you the most about each other? Do tell.
Oh my God, but this is so easy and we say it all the time. You say no to me.
Yeah.
No one says no to me. You say no to me constantly.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. Because it's only you and Aaron. Everyone else gives me whatever.
Yeah. So here's a really fun fact about Meadow that
I'm a brat.
Yeah.
Brat stall.
I didn't have Libras in my life like this.
Yeah.
You bitches
Welcome.
are such fucking brats.
No, it's just obscene. It's obscene.
You're the photo of you with the tiara crying.
Yeah.
That's you. Insert the photo.
So cute. Crying on my dad's shoulder.
Yeah. Sometimes Meadow's a brat, but it's fine.
But you always say no to me with love, to be fair.
Thank you.
It might annoy me, but you always say no. You always say no to me with love.
I just don't think I like saying no to you.
And I don't think I would ever, again, I would never get anything done unless I had you to say no and prioritize other things. And to, like, here's the thing. It's usually not a no. It's like a not now.
Sure.
To be fair.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for not making me feel like a party pooper.
You're not. You're not.
Sometimes I feel like I have a stick on my ass when I tell you
You're hurting the butterflies that are in my brain.
Okay.
In a way that helps. Yeah. It annoys the shit out of me because you're saying no.
Right.
But you're not really saying no. So.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
What about my perfect personality annoys?
That. Just that. It's the fact that you're a brat. Like if Meadow doesn't get her way, the conclusions that
pouting.
you jump to. No, they're gnarly.
My narratives?
Gnarly. The
if
narratives
only
that
they
you
knew
come
the
up
narratives
with
that I can
are
make up.
out of
Do you see why I need to
control.
meditate every day and have like a huge AM
Yes.
time block? Because I will just run with narratives that are so self-serving. Self-indulgent. It is
Oh my
disgusting.
God. They're really crazy.
I have to intentionally every day take the space to separate from that to be like, you're being a crazy bitch. Slow down.
Like they're wild. The thing is, like they usually don't impede on me,
No.
so I don't care.
Yeah.
It's when it impedes on me that I'm like, that's so funny.
You're like, now you need to stop.
That's cute that you thought you could say that. Okay, next.
Is it my turn?
Sure.
Have you ever seriously considered deleting social media?
No.
Every day.
Like seriously.
Every day.
Yeah. See, I've thought
Every
about
day.
it of like, what would my life be like if I lived in Gilmore Girls?
I think
about that a lot.
I think I only, honestly, this might happen. I'm not even lying. I think I only want to be on the podcast and on YouTube and just like not be on Instagram and TikTok. And I'll repurpose some stuff, but like I really only fuck with long format. It's the only thing that lights me up.
I agree.
I think I just want to lean in. Because
I
why?
like
Why
long
do something
format.
that feels like resistance? Remember Anne Louise? Like if there's always all this. Anyway, we'll see.
I hate short format.
I just,
It also makes me feel like brain dead when I like look at it for too long.
Yes. Remember I used to, prior to us doing this and it being like part of what I want to do, from Christmas through Valentine's Day, I would delete all social media and it was always my favorite. January was like my favorite month of the year because of it. So anyway.
And now you fucking can't. Okay, what's the most expensive thing you've bought for the sake of self-care?
That is such a good one.
That's funny.
Fuck. That is such a good one.
I actually don't know.
Very expensive witch appointments.
You mean the $400
Don't laugh at me,
I signed
Zena.
yesterday? I actually don't know.
The one you went to yesterday?
Literally. Oop, here's a quick $400 Venmo.
Our fucking psychic? Yeah, probably that, right?
Yeah. I have spent
my Sedona
thousands of dollars on a bitch telling me
to trust yourself.
It's actually crazy. So I'm like, what am I gonna do tonight? Go out to dinner or like tell someone to tell me what to do?
Like, you have the answer.
Here
You're like, I needed to pay you to say that to me. Thank you so much.
Wait, that's crazy.
But you know what? I'm gonna do it again and again. I'm gonna do it again. But wasn't she worth it?
Yeah. Guys, I left the appointment and she handed me.
She's the best psychic ever.
Guys, she handed me her children's book. Her children's book that's little doodles of drops of love and said, here, sweetie, this is about fear. It's a children's book, but I think you should read it. So I said, okay, here's $400. Thank you so much. Dude, that's crazy.
But she's so good. Oh my God, that's
Okay.
so fucking
I'm
funny.
sweating.
I can't handle it. Me too.
Go on.
Get through them. Is it my turn? Are you a zero inbox person? Yeah.
No.
Oh my God.
Oh,
yes, you. No one emails faster than you. You, girl.
yeah, but that doesn't mean my inbox is
I'm
at
literally
zero.
like dripping snot down my face. I'm laughing so hard. This is gonna be a problem recording in person. You're gonna make me laugh till I cry. I consider you an inbox zero person. You're not? Okay.
Like, I just can't get it to there because there's always fucking stupid PR people that I need to answer.
Oh, yeah.
And not PR people with brands. Thank you so much for sending me the things that you do. I mean, people
Please keep sending
for
me stuff.
magazines that are like, here is this gummy that makes you
oh my gosh,
shit
we
a
get
little more.
so
Can
many
you
of
write
those
about
in
it for
TMV?
Architectural Digest? Like, no.
We get so many of those in TMV for you. And I've unsubscribed to this one girl 400 times. And I've emailed her being like, please stop. This is a podcast.
Gabriella doesn't work here anymore.
Literally keeps getting them.
Okay.
If you've ever been privy to the inside of my brain, you would know that there's no way in hell I would ever be that kind of person. I am right now. I've been very good at it recently.
Yeah.
But it's always because I get to the point where it's like 2,500 unread and I go, mark all, read, and I start over. Reckless. Don't care.
That is.
Cycles. I do it all the time.
I'm such
all
a rule follower with that. What?
Rules don't exist. Do you remember who raised me?
Yeah.
Rules don't exist.
No, it's actually crazy. I was zero inbox when I worked for. Yeah, I was about to say.
Perks of being a white person.
Glad you said it.
I was literally raised that rules don't exist to me. How
Yeah.
fucked is that? Anyway.
Yeah. It's
move on.
not good. I was like, Meadow grew up very differently. What was I saying? I was a zero inbox person when I worked for Amy because I had to be.
Well, duh. Yeah.
Now I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you prefer calling or texting?
Texting. Don't call me. I just don't want to hear it. I
Send me
won't
a
text
voicemail.
back either. Actually, just don't
contact me.
Just don't call.
In fact,
lose my number.
Lose my number.
In fact, lose my number.
Mm.
For real. I'm not kidding.
I hate texting. I don't want to talk to catch up.
We
though.
text back and forth quickly to get the job done and we walk away.
Yes.
I
But
can
if
appreciate
I need something
that.
immediately, why are you? Although my sister, she is such a like, call me. Like, I need this answer right now, so call me. But it's often.
Yeah. That's
Not
a
as much
lot.
anymore because we don't live in the same state. But
Yeah.
like, it used to drive me crazy because I'm like, I'll answer you quickly, but like, stop calling me.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that.
But I also don't like texting.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Don't contact
Just
me.
lose my number.
Let's make dinner plans.
Lose my
That's it.
number. What's your go-to podcast? I know what it is.
What is it?
Diary Vasillo.
Yeah, that's yours too.
Yeah, obviously.
Great. Okay. Call us.
Diary
Okay.
Vasillo. Stephen Bartlett.
What stresses you out the most?
His girlfriend would love us. Stresses me out the most. Ooh. Money.
Same.
Money. Stresses me out the most.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay, before we start crying, what are you currently putting off? We talked to mine on the way here.
Did we? What did I say?
Mine. No, mine.
Oh, yeah. We know yours. Work project.
A work project that I have refused to sit down and actually complete.
Oh, I need to book a trip that I've been putting off
Oh,
because
shit,
money.
I gotta do that too.
Yeah, I have to book a trip.
Okay.
Which is ironic because the longer you wait, the more
Mhm.
expensive it gets. I digress. What's the last lie you told? And who was it to? Was it me in this conversation?
No.
Thank God you passed
What was the
test.
last lie that I told? And who was it?
Can I just say
to?
something? I lie constantly. Constantly.
You're like, this whole thing, a lie.
I lie constantly and I feel no qualms about it.
What do you lie about?
Sociopathy. Stupid. Like shit that doesn't matter. Like if you don't need access to me, if my day's shitty and it's not good. Like
Meadow, don't be fucking boring. That's everyone lies about that.
Okay, so like I don't have juicy lies though, because the people that matter to me
Well, the
are
way you
in.
said it was as if you had a fucking double life. Like, I actually lie
Here's the
constantly.
thing: the people that are close to me, that it matters, know everything about me.
Yeah, I like
in a
that
way with
you-
healthy
you
boundaries.
monitor your access.
Everyone else, a fucking lie.
I like that.
Yeah.
No, I got to get better at that.
How about this? How about this? My last lie is being nice to people that I really fucking can't stand.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I like that.
you know who
What
they
was
are.
Mine, because I do feel like I do that. I actually though have gotten really good this year about not hanging out with people who piss me off.
Oh yeah,
frankly.
they're not people I hang out with. It's just if I run into them,
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna just behave socially, but I just would really love to avoid the interaction.
I told someone that something they did didn't bother me
Oh.
when it really pissed me off, but I didn't.
Does the
want to deal with
relationship
it.
matter to you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hard.
I just
That's
didn't want.
hard.
I frankly didn't
Didn't
want
want
to
to deal with it. Fair. Been there, but that's hard. I get that.
Okay, this is my favorite question that I've ever written.
I just okay. This is such a good question.
If you, by the way, I'm not going to take credit. I googled friends. I googled questions to ask your friends, and I think it was like a Teen Vogue article.
Of course it was. This is a great question.
If you were a ghost, how would you haunt people?
Okay, how about let me catch you up to speed on how my ghosts haunt me.
Okay.
My brother always technology. Like from the second he died, like lights flashing, shit not working. We were throwing his ashes in the ocean. I threw my phone in the ocean with his ashes. And I was like, are you fucking kidding? Like my brother is technology. Other ancestors are like kind of more cute.
Yeah.
First of all, if I die first, I've said this time, I will haunt the fuck out of you. And I'm very excited to do it.
Same.
I think I'll do it in ways that like really hype you up. Like if someone's like being mean to you and you're out in public, like I'm gonna like trip them. Or like do
You'll be petty.
Yeah, I'd be totally petty.
Oh, I'd be
petty for your advantage.
I'd do that.
That's how I'd haunt you. Yeah.
I like that.
I'd also probably come hang out with you in dreamland. I think I'd be like a big subconscious, so it's not scary because I've seen it ghosts and it was scary when I did. And so I feel like I would come more in like dream world or like subconscious world where it felt more welcoming and less scary.
Yeah, listen, ancestors, I don't want to see you. I've seen you, and you left me alone when I told you to. Thank you so much.
Same. They do. They leave you alone if you ask, which is kind. But then sometimes I'm like, well, now I kind of want you to come here.
No, I don't want to see it.
Okay.
It scares me. So I won't do that to whoever comes after me in this lifetime. But I think I'd fuck with people too in that way. You know what my dad always says, which just pissed me off? My dad.
I love your dad.
My dad my dad is just the guy that's talked about like the urn that he will be in since I was like 5 years old.
Yeah.
He is always like, if you see the curtains ruffling, that's me. It's funny. He always says that's how he's gonna fuck with me one day. It's like
really funny.
He's gonna ruffle some fucking curtains.
Yeah. My favorite episode of Broad
I kind of want to be like the fairy godmother, where I want to like do shit for you in like a fun way, where it's like I can fuck with the haters for you, and be petty, but I think I'm gonna want to like make your day easier and like funny.
Yeah, totally. Like whatever you need that day, like fun. Yes, happy accidents.
Happy accidents.
That'd be cute. Or like little friendship symbols we sprinkle throughout the day.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
that was.
Would you do something mean?
Would I do something mean?
Yeah. As a ghost?
I haven't been a ghost before, so I'm not going to pigeonhole myself. Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Let's see how I act.
Says the Libra.
I'll be one soon, so let's see how I act.
Okay.
That
was fun.
I am so happy to be here. I love you so much.
I love you so much. Thank you guys for listening.
Now we can do this in person.
Now you do this. I don't like it.
Wiggly, wiggly, wiggly. Okay.
She has sweaty hands, guys.
Don't tell them about my sweaty palm syndrome. We haven't done the shadow episode yet. First High School Musical, now this.
I can't believe I read you to filth on that one.
That's crazy.
I love when you say crazy.
I know. I really own it.
Dirty word.
I really own it. It really is a dirty word for me. Like, this is me acting out. That's crazy.
Crazy. Just say it with your chest. It's like when you just yell cunt as loud as you can.
Cunt is my favorite cuss word.
Same.
It's so good.
Same.
Take that, cunt.
We should end.
Stay cunty, Bye. San Diego.
How's it going, y'all? It's Aaron. Don't let your Monday suck. Don't have those Sunday scaries. I'm tired of everybody waking up in the week saying, shit, it's Monday. You know what goes down? TMV releases every week on Mondays. Make sure you rate and review wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're watching YouTube, yes, TMV has a YouTube, be sure to subscribe and ring that noti bell and never miss a thing. And also, join the TMV Familia by joining the Thoughts May Vary Patreon and by following @Thoughts May Vary Pod on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you for listening.
Great.
There you go.
Thanks, AB.
Got y'all.